Well, let's get this started, everybody. Welcome, and again, thank you for those who are attending and listening in. Formal introduction is I am Jake Whitney. I am the Regional Sales Manager at Fortress Power for the Mountain West region and the Midwest region of the states. And so I will be covering, presenting, and getting into the details of the history of Fortress Power, our background, where we come from, what we do, and then the services and solutions we provide, updates on policies that has happened in the states as of late, and a couple of products that have really taken the market by storm, and hopefully find the right tailored solution for you as the installer to offer homeowners. So to get started right into it, so Fortress Power, we are a US based manufacturer. We have been around since the year of 2016, and all our battery, we started out with lithium iron phosphate, and to this day, that is still the case for many of the chemistries. So for some data, because everybody does love numbers, is that to this day, we have over 500 installers, and that is over the US and the Puerto Rico, that is Mexico, and other countries that we have a presence in. We have over 100 distributors and distributor partners that do carry, stock, supply, and support our product to their installing clients. With over 50K projects installed, that number is probably a little inaccurate at this point. It's probably much higher. But along with providing hardware, software, and all-in-one encompassing solution, we also offer industry-leading warranties for our products, anywhere from 10 years up to 30 years of coverage for a whole home battery system, which in today's age is pretty pivotal in a sales pitch to homeowners to have the comfort of investing into renewable energy. We at Fortress Power are also experts in VPP programs, which virtual power plant started out a few years ago, and now we are in multiple VPP programs across the states and in other countries as well, and with a little bit some more on the way. So for location wise, just so you know where we are actually based out of, where our team is located, our main office location is in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. That is in the States. That's where the headquarters are. So it's where the majority of our tech support, our engineers, and leadership are based out of. We also have an office location based in Puerto Rico and in Mexico. Mexico is actually fairly new, as we are gaining massive traction in the Mexico market. And we have warehouse locations in the Los Angeles, California, and the Miami, Florida, where the materials arrive, and then logistically we ship out materials to our clients. So again, in 2016 is when Fortress Power was actually founded out there in Pennsylvania, supplying lithium iron phosphate products. We then in 2017 launched officially the first one of the, I believe it was the eFlex battery. In 2018, we launched the second generation, and from that point realized there is a lot of demand for a strong, competent energy storage system from a company who actually cares about installers and homeowners and partners. So then in 2019, we got into the EMS division and added more battery options to the platform. In 2020, we launched our app called the Guardian Monitoring. Our monitoring spans from monitoring the whole battery system and the PV as a whole, the strings. And we also have monitoring options that go into the battery for battery module level monitoring and temperatures, as temperature is a very massive factor for battery performance here in the States. In 2021, we brought in the investment partner and launched our C&I division, which to briefly cover, which goes into 2022. Fortress Power is not just a manufacturer and company that provides residential products and services, but we also provide a whole product line of commercial and industrial products. So as we see here in the States and also in Mexico and Hawaii and Puerto Rico, there is becoming a massive trend and demand for commercial projects as electrical demands increase. And with the performance of our batteries that we do manufacture ourselves at Fortress Power with our own software, we are becoming if not the top key player for the commercial industry. And then when we go to 2025, the year is now we have fully all residential and the 48-volt product line, indoor, outdoor systems, along with the commercial. So the manufacturing is based overseas in China, and details will be disclosed soon on this. So to summarize the main points why installers choose Fortress Power. In this industry, when it comes to choosing a product and a service to offer homeowners, as we all know, homeowners want a product that can be backed and supported by not just the installer, but by the actual manufacturer. Somebody that cares about the success of homeowners having a resilient and performing system along with installers, and along that they will be there whenever they need us. So we have tried and true proven products. Our products have a failure rate of less than 0.1%. It's even less than that. It's actually one of the lowest in this whole industry compared to others. And we also have a friendly designer tool. Along with the designer tool, which we will address, we have actually some of the most brilliant engineers in this industry that when an installer comes to us and has a scope of a project, but they are unsure how to design it, we actually will meet one-on-one with you as the installer to hear the scope of what needs to be accomplished, and we will size it out for you, give our recommendations. That way you and the homeowner have the assurance that this came from the manufacturer itself. The technical support, one I really want to focus on. I truly believe that Fortress Power has not, if not the most superior technical support in the market. We have a US-based technical support, and we are available 7 days a week. It is real-time assistance. Yeah, let's call it how it is. If you call it and you're waiting on the phone a little bit, that will happen. But we do get them addressed within 24 to 48 business hours, depending on how busy things are. But our tech support team is not just the average Joe taking a call. These guys are actual engineers. They come from actual installation experience. They are literally hands-on with the equipment, walking through the problems with the installer. So we know exactly what they're facing. We can find a solution and get the system back to operational. Luckily, we do not have to do that much often because our systems, again, do not have that much of a problem to begin with. But when it does, we are there to support them in every capacity. That is either email, phone call, chat online, our support ticket system. We invest there so that way we can invest in our installers to be constantly successful and keep pushing projects out. Along with that, we do have extremely competitive pricing for our installers on all our products. At the end of the day, we want homeowners to have the most cost-effective system, but also not to get price gouged. So we like to provide a very sound system with sound pricing, and that gets handed down from us to a distributor, to the installer, and all those cost savings goes on to everybody. We can scale for any project from a 5.4. So yes, this could go in RVs. Yes, this can go on a boat if you ever needed it. And it can scale drastically all the way up to 5 megawatt hours. So we are designed to cover the full spectrum of energy demands. And lastly is the reputation. So we are highly rated across all communities and platforms. We are on the, I think it's called the CASA organization, along with others, and continue to do so and support all our partners the best in our capability. So our products, again, we are built for homes, businesses, and everything in between, whether that is grid tied, that is off-grid homes, Recreational vehicles, our batteries do actually accommodate that. Boats, commercial, railways, that one's unique because we do have a battery on a railway supplying their electrical demands, and telecommunications. So again, we have the spectrum of products to cover anything and everything that comes your way as the installer. So we're going to cover packages and some products here real briefly. And before we do, we're going to cover the generality of the warranties and also the VPP programs. So some of the topics we're going to get into. First and foremost is the federal policy shift that we faced here in the United States that took effect about a month ago. So the Big Beautiful Bill passed. What that in short means is that the 30% tax credit that homeowners could claim for a full solar system, renewable energy system, will go away by the end of 2025 and therefore no longer exist in 2026. The commercial is different. Commercial still does exist for those purposes. But the massive talking point and concerns that we get brought up is, well, how do we sell systems now? Because a lot of companies were just doing pitches on price swapping. So storage it's not just about incentives. It's about controlling your energy. It's about being independent off of the grid. The reason why I want to focus on that some more is as everything develops more into the electrical demand, and this isn't just for the States, this is for Canada, this is for Mexico and Puerto Rico. The demand for electricity it's not going down. It's increasing drastically, quite honestly. And we are having more data centers, more AI centers, more manufacturing, more commercial is being installed in the States and Canada and Mexico and other places. Well, when these buildings are installed, the demand for electricity is drastically going to hike up. And the majority of the grid all over the States and these countries, they are not designed to supply and carry that kind of electricity to these commercial structures. So there is high potential for more grid outages, more, they call them blackouts for energy going out of the grid. And the cost of electricity is going to increase. For example, multiple states here is already increasing their rates by 10, 13%. Let's see, for example, Utah just increased it by, I believe, 10 to 13. There was just an announcement that Kansas is looking to do another 10% increase. Texas is going to do another increase. All these utilities are going to increase it. They're going to follow that trend because they have to keep up with that. They're going to mark it up more. At the end of the day, those costs are going to get dumped on the homeowners. Therefore, the need for storage and for energy, renewable energy, is going to increase. That is what we are seeing. That is how I see 2025. The rest of the year playing out is this is going away. The demand for solar is going to peak up. More people are going to want to get the 30% tax credit on not just the PV, but the solar. And then the mindset is, well, what about 2026? It's going to be interesting how 2026 plays out. But the demand for battery is not going away. If not, it's going to increase without doubt. A lot of installers are already shifting the mindset of, okay, instead of pitching 100% or 120 or 150% PV, we will go down to like 70, 80, or even 60 PV and add in a battery. The reason why installers do this is because, as we all know, the peak time of production for solar energy can be anywhere from the hours of 9 to 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So you have this massive curve of energy produced. In this peak afternoon when energy is being produced, it's actually not really being used by the homeowner. Most of the time they're out of the house, they're working, the kids are at school. All this excess power, if you do not have a battery, is going to be dumped back into the grid. And then the grid's going to use it, sell it at their own rate. Well, instead of just giving that power to the power company at, if it's not a 1-for-1 net metering, a very low value retail rate, put a battery on there. use that excess storage that they're not using, shove it in that battery. Then the battery can be programmed to be used for self-consumption. So you can program it for the critical loads on the house to actually run off of the stored energy in the battery to run the loads in the house during the evening into the night and the next day. The battery will probably go down to like 30% energy storage, but the sun comes back up and it re-energizes the battery. That is kind of the pitch that people are going into, because the cost of electricity is not going to go down. It is going to increase. Therefore, the demand for solar storage is going to increase along with it. A lot of homes already have solar panels, but they don't have batteries. That's been the most reason why solar has thrived in the last 5 to 6 years, is they're just selling PV. Well, they have the panels, but in the years to come, when rates go up, and if net metering gets changed, which it has in multiple states and countries, that's going to hurt them. So they're going to want to add a battery in regardless. So it's all about shifting the mindset, shifting the pitch, but partnering with the best battery company that can offer whole home solutions, best support, best warranty. Again, that would be Fortress Power. I want to transition that to VPP programs, virtual power plants. So utility companies across the states are the ones that actually create these VPP programs. And the reason why they do this is actually quite fascinating. The reason why they create VPP programs is to help offset the demand that the power company has to supply to the grid. So for example, Utah, Colorado, North Carolina, Connecticut, California, and I know there's there it is, Idaho, and then Oregon are states where they have VPP programs. And when peak afternoons are hitting with massive heat hitting the states and other countries, there is a large demand of electricity to run appliances in homes, and they can't meet it. So to prevent a grid outage, they actually activate the program to where if homeowners have battery, the excess storage in the batteries, they pull from that to supply the grid. Now, if your mindset is, oh, well, that's horrible, the grid is pulling power out of the homeowners, and the whole point of homeowners going solar is to be off the grid. You're not wrong there. But the mindset, again, is what can we do to help homeowners offset the cost? If the 30%, not if, when the 30% ITC goes away. The majority of these VPP programs offer homeowners a upfront rebate. It can range anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 to $10,000. The power company is literally giving these checks to these homeowners. And then they're on a contract that can be anywhere from 2 years to 5 years. So that check helps get dumped into the cost of getting storage in a solar system. And then the remaining years of the contract, the homeowner also gets an additional credit that gets applied to their electricity bill, so it brings that monthly bill down even lower. So they are rewarding it because they need the assistance. And we at Fortress Power are leading that VPP initiative. We are multiple programs. For example, as you see on the screen, we are in the North Carolina, South Carolina Duke Energy program, the Connecticut Green Bank Utility-backed programs. Colorado, it's a new program with the Holy Cross Energy. And then you have Vermont with the Green Mountain Power, and many more to come. VPPs are growing more, is what we are seeing, because the power company can't sustain the electricity. Again, therefore, the need for storage and electricity from renewable energy is going to increase, if not exist, for sure. So we talked about selling resiliency, weather outages. We did cover that part already. So lastly, we want to talk about warranties, because only when it comes to warranties can it support a system. So, pardon me as I shut this off. So for warranties, Fortress Power starts with a default of 10-year warranties for some of our 48-volt batteries. That would be the eFlex and the eVault Max. but we just came out with a new 15-year warranty with our eForce battery. That is with the battery, our own inverter, and the Guardian all included. It makes it one ecosystem. You're dealing with one company, one product. That way you're not being tossed back and forth in between two manufacturers, wondering who the heck's going to help you with tech support. It's just better to have equipment from one company, and that way it's one ecosystem, one software. And we at Fortress Power make that happen. Now, there is also an optional 30-year warranty that is through our partners at Solar Insure. Fantastic individuals, fantastic company with a fantastic offering for the homeowners. So, along with selling solar and storage, especially storage, is batteries have cycles on them. Some batteries have low cycles, 5,000 cycles, and a cycle is when it runs once per day. And then, or they have like a default warranty. So homeowners, when they invest in these systems, what they want is also assurances and a peace of mind that the system will operate effectively, but also that they have more coverage. And so Solar Insure offers a 30-year warranty. It is extremely difficult to pass through the loops and the process to be on this program, but when you're on this program, it is a stamp, like a golden stamp, saying that this company is peak and they stand behind their product and their services. Fortress Power is on that program, and we are the best at it. So we have flexible architecture, AC/DC coupling systems, stackable batteries, and that way it helps with the assurance for everything. You're going to go. So there's a few products, mostly two batteries I want to cover along with our inverters. The one that recently came out into the market last year and this year and has proven to take the market by storm and functioned and installed perfectly, it's called the eForce. The eForce battery starts out as a 9.6 kilowatt hour battery. It can stack up to a 19.2, and then it can go up to a 28.8. You can even go to 38.4. This battery can be stacked vertically or horizontally, and it is paired with our inverter. It is a 48-volt battery. You can start again from 9.6, but you can also go all the way up to 268.8 kilowatt hours. This has been installed on condos, on apartments, on homes, even on commercial buildings too, because our residential inverters are three-phase compatible. Most commercial structures are three-phase, but sometimes commercial batteries are so expensive they're out of the budget that a residential product is more cost-effective. And luckily, we at Fortress Power developed our inverter to be three-phase compatible, which is why so many people get drawn to us, as we provide that product and service. Now, a few more things that make this product absolutely phenomenal. How it's installed. Before Fortress Power, I sold solar. I installed some systems too for a few years. And the struggles that I understand is being like, how can we make the most money? How can we also effectively install a system without wasting time on the site, wondering how to put this thing together? So the eForce actually eliminates a lot of headaches, eliminates time of installation, makes it very seamless. So this is a battery that can be installed, is floor-based, and can also be mounted on the wall. So you have the closing circuit base on the bottom. Each eForce battery module is 9.6, and you can stack it up. In fact, there's a plug on this left-hand side. It literally just clicks in. So with these batteries, you do not have to take a positive and negative wiring to string each battery module to each other. When you do that, that takes time, that costs money because you got to pay for that wiring. Time is money at the end of the day. So they just plug into each other. And then you have what's called the eWay, and that plugs on top. Inside the eWay is a 750 amp bus bar. That does come built with it, within it. And then it also has knockouts on both sides and the back, because we know that all installations are different, where you're putting the conduit wiring from the battery to the inverter. So we want to give that flexibility. Again, this is an indoor and outdoor rated battery. Each eForce 9.6 battery module comes with a built-in heater element. So this can be outside. This can be in cold temperatures. This can be in high elevation. When it hits a certain temperature, the heater kicks on. If your question is, where does it get the power from? It does draw the power from the battery to self-heat it and self-insulate it. And then the integration with our inverters is extremely quick. And then it does have a 200 amp hour capacity per module. It is 1C rated. And then the recommended charge is 120 amps or 160 amp. It does come with an e-stop rapid emergency shutdown. That is this little knob on the side, which is very helpful for emergency situations. The failure rate of our lithium iron phosphate cells is less than 0.02%. Extremely strong in this industry. So we are seeing a much more massive demand for this battery because you can really stack it up, or again, you can go horizontal, just like on this previous page right here. The way that they are installed horizontally is that you actually can just put the conduit wiring from one eWay next to the other eWay. If you go vertically, the batteries just stack on top. Now, this battery it's got some weight to it. I think it's like 220 pounds, but it does have good dimensions and it can fit in tight spaces and is the ideal battery solution for any kind of homeowner and any kind of commercial application you can think of. If you need something that is ready to be stackable for now and or the future, this is the best choice in the industry. And then to get a little bit more into the eWay on top, just so you guys can see the guts of it some more, you have the e-stop switch on the left-hand side. That 750 amp bus bar, yes, that does come to you pre-built. Fun fact about this battery, this comes to you all assembled. This battery comes to you itself. This battery comes to you. The eWay comes to you in the base. So you just have to plug them in on top of each other. Back to the eWay, does have a COM port, side knockouts, the Guardian. The Guardian is a monitoring device, just like I discussed earlier, that will monitor the system. That is a piece of equipment that is critical also for the 15-year warranty. It does not come by default into the eWay. That is a separate piece that you do have to purchase for it. In this video clip you see on the right-hand side, beautifully displays that on the bottom of our inverter is a plate, and the eWay on top has a plate. You take both of them off, you sit it on top, and it's a seamless install and smooth installation. The next battery I want to cover is the most recent one that we just announced and coming out with, and will be available in October. It's called the eBoost, and it is a 16 kilowatt battery. Comes to you fully pre-assembled and ready to go. The question I get often asked is, why would people go with the eBoost or the eForce? Some homeowners just want one battery and they call it good. It's also what they want for cost effectiveness. And this battery has a very, very competitive price with a very, very competitive function. So again, it is a 16 kilowatt battery. It is indoor and outdoor rated. It does have the same heating element built inside the cabinet. You can run both AC and DC conductors without the need for separate wireway. Also, it has a 300 amp surge power, and this battery is scalable up to 516 kilowatt hours. Now, it has the latest LFP cells built into it, and this can also be wall mounted and floor mounted. Already, we are getting pre-orders for this battery. And the main reason, again, why people go with this battery is just price competitiveness, and it's just an easy one and done battery install for your average Joe residential house. Does have the wheels built into it, so you can wheel it into place, prop it up there, call it a day. The top portion is an eWay, very similar to the one I just showed before. Comes with a built-in bus bar, comes with the knockouts on the side, plug, install, wiring from inverter to the eWay, you are ready to go. So those are the two batteries I want to emphasize. Again, we do manufacture our own 48-volt inverters with high capacity. Some of them can do, we call it the MV12. We have a 10 kilowatt, an 8 kilowatt, and also soon to be a 21 kilowatt inverter. That can be found on our website as well. All of them, again, are 48 volt. Our inverters are AC and DC coupled. Does come with a generator port built into it. Does come with a rapid shutdown transmitter device. That is an AP rapid shutdown transmitter device. That is one less cost for you as the installer. And then you can also, it comes with the breakers already into it for the PV, for the DC breakers, and grid tied. The modes and functions of our inverters and batteries: on-grid, off-grid, self-consumption. It is ready for VPP programs. It does not need to be attached to the grid to get its own power to supply the battery. So when it comes to, well, Jake, how do I know which battery is best accommodable to my project? So we took that next step to provide another service for all our partners, which is called the Fortress Power System Designer. It was created by our own solutions engineer, Gio. Thank you so much, by the way, because this is a phenomenal tool. If you are in a pressing point, or if you are in the homeowner's house and they are telling you, I want a Fortress Power battery, but which one and how many? If you want to create on the spot, our website has this tool. You can literally type in the appliances, the quantity, how many watts it is, the load it demands, and this tool will generate recommendations for inverters in the battery. That way you can actually quote it right there on the spot with the homeowner and get the sale. So some common packages that people do: eco package. This one's for off-grid living, small homes, remote cabins. The most common one we see is the MV8 kilowatt inverter with the eBoost 16 kilowatt battery, and can run all these appliances. The next package is the comfort packages. If you need homes that are larger, with larger demand, bigger appliances, washer machine, dishwasher, electrical tools, then we can go to our MV12 kilowatt inverter, the eForce battery, or the eBoost 16 kilowatt. You can actually choose whichever one to your liking. And then whole home, the big mamba, that's what I call it. This one is where you require so much demand from your battery. So that's where you would do two inverters, because our inverters can be placed in parallel. Our MV12 inverter, you can parallel 12 of them. You can parallel our batteries and accomplish the goal of what the homeowner needs to survive during grid outage or during self-reliancy, one of the two. So the Energy Broker Program, again, VPP, I just want to show in what states, again, we are in. So Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Utah. So Oregon, Idaho, Utah is where the WattSmart program is for Rocky Mountain Power, and along with Wyoming. Colorado, we are on the Holy Cross program. Arizona, then you have California, North Carolina, South Carolina, and the East Coast states, and more to come. And then Texas, how could we forget about Texas? So at the end of the day, Fortress Power, we are not just a battery. We are a service. We are a solution for any installer that wants a whole home BESS, battery energy storage system, for any residential, commercial applications. Again, we have our own dedicated support team. Our support team are engineers. They come from installation backgrounds. They know what they are doing. They know what they are talking about. We have experts to help you through training and certification. We have our own online training courses. If you have a question on how to do that, go to our website, click a tab for dealers, click sign up. We don't require any commitment when you sign on as a dealer, but it just grants you access to have more training to our products. We can also schedule in-person technical workshops, or we can do online. And then we can do live and recorded webinars like we're doing right now. And again, industry-leading warranties, which we covered. Again, the eForce with our NB and Guardian paired all together is a 15-year warranty, and you can maximize it up to 30 years through Solar Insure. When it comes to financing, of course, you can look at financing partners that are in this industry. And this is the last one of access. So this will be concluding our webinar of the day and coverage. If you do have any more questions, please reach out to that email, sales@fortresspower.com, our telephone number, and or our website. We have a lot more products. We have a lot more batteries. We have a massive line also of any inverter. We have designated regional sales managers across the states in Mexico, Puerto Rico, Canada, and many other countries. We are a simple email and phone call away with any inquiries that you may have and any questions that you may have. So with that being said, I thank anybody and everybody who has attended this webinar. Thank you again for your time. I know it is hard to do, especially if you're an installer when you have projects. If you have questions, let us know. Email us. Happy to answer for you. And in the meantime, we'll just continue riding the solar coaster is how I call it. But if you're looking for the most ideal and perfect whole home renewable energy manufacturer, Fortress Power is the #1 choice. Best tech support, best products, best software, best solutions, and the best people to back you behind your success. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the week.